Westwood One presents Roger McGuinn, Off the Record with Mary Turner. Brought to you by Schick Razors and Blades. Schick, close to the edge. And the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. Roger McGuinn, Off the Record.
It's like a big circle to everything. There's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to read.
The season of McGuinn? Well, it came in like a lion, and it's not showing any signs of moving on. I guess the temperature suits us, and him. His motto is, if it's not fun, it's not done. So before he heads to Rio or Florida or the road, we'll talk for a while. I'm Mary Turner with Roger McGuinn, Off the Record.
You know, baby, since you took your love away, my heart's been stalling, kick the wall in, night and day. Yeah, I've been sad, I've been down, I've been so to blame. Baby, how was I to know? I burned our bridges down, but I know the time has come to turn it back around. The time has come for picking up the pieces. The time has come. Hold on tight, baby, don't you know the time has come.
Back from Rio, Roger McGuinn's first solo album in 13 years, and the answer to an old mystery.
Well, it takes a little bit of explaining. Back in the 60s, I was into this Eastern thing, and I changed my name from Jim to Roger. A lot of people didn't understand that. They thought that Jim McGuinn was my brother, and he went to Rio, and I took over the Birds. But it was really me all the time. An inside joke made outside.
Keep saying no to her since she was a baby. Keep saying no to her, not even maybe. And why? Say there's a limit there, she can't go past that. She don't believe you, she don't think that's where it's at. Why? Say she can't change that, it's the way you've always done it. She don't care about that, she thinks you've just begun it. Why?
Here's the setting. You're in a small club somewhere in America. You get to stand right up next to the stage, and a fearless waitress miraculously manages to bring you drinks throughout the show. It's hot, it's smoky, and crowded. The guy on stage, a legend, an inspiration for thousands of musicians. So what's Roger McGuinn doing here? Basically having a great time.
Back after McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman had its run of success, we decided to just kind of kick back and do a folk thing. I'd been talking to Ramblin' Jack Elliott, and he told me one of the best things he ever did was when he got in a Land Rover and barnstormed around the country and played these little gigs and had his guitar, and, you know, all the people were friendly and they'd put him up at his house and stuff like that. Well, we kind of took that idea and improved on it a little bit, where we flew first class and stayed in nice hotels, you know, or we would drive sometimes. We do it different ways all the time. Sometimes we took the train or whatever, you know. It was always an adventure and a kind of a romantic, like a honeymoon. And we've been doing it for a long time, and it's just so much fun that I didn't want to stop it. And I have to say about recording, the climate just wasn't very hospitable toward what I do. And I do what I do. I haven't changed my sound to be disco or, during the disco period, or to be punk during the punk period, or to be rap during the rap period. I can't be like Madonna. I can't do that kind of thing. I just do what I do, and I keep doing it. And sometimes it's in favor, and sometimes it isn't. Well, it just happened by the end of the '80s that it came back into a nice warm climate for what I do with REM and Petty's success and stuff like that. So I just maintained a sort of an even course and went through it. And believe me, I've had a wonderful time. I didn't miss it at all. I really didn't. It's been great.
She is running and he is running from the ones who wanna love them. He's scared and she's scared, 'cause she doesn't really trust him. She's dreaming of someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love. She cares and he cares about the ones who really love them. He knows and she knows that she'll finally have to trust him. She's dreaming of someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love. Crossing that bridge can take a little courage. The hardest part is knowing what love is. All you need is someone to love you. Daylight will find them in the arms of one another. Their love will bind them. They'll never need another lover. They're dreaming of someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love. All you need is someone to love you. All you need is someone to love.
Roger McGuinn. He started the Byrds in 1965. In '73, he went solo, sort of. There were some albums and some tours with Byrd mates Chris Hillman and Gene Clark. By the '80s, he was really solo. Roger spent most of that decade on the road, 100 shows a year. We'll be able to read all about his journey soon. Roger's autobiography, So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, should be out before the year is over. To borrow a line from John Sebastian, oh, the stories he could tell.
I can tell you about hanging out at the Robleski place out in, it used to be run by this wonderful family called the Robleskis. It was out there in New Jersey. And this lady, Mrs. Robleski, used to cook for us. In fact, I was talking to John Lee Hooker about it, and he was saying, oh, Mrs. Robleski, and he talked about the food, and everything. And she was famous for that. You'd show up there, and she'd cook you this fantastic meal. And one time we were there with, we did have a van there with a refrigerator in it and a stove and everything. And they'd been out there selling lobsters on the road. One of their little side ventures, one of the kids had caught a bunch of lobsters and he was selling them on the road. And they were cooked, and they cooked them up for us and shelled them for us, and we put them in our refrigerator. And we were driving around with this lobster for breakfast and stuff. It was really neat,
I don't want to compete with you.
I'm a gadget freak. I've had a car phone since the early 70s. I had this briefcase phone that I used to lug around. It weighed 25 pounds, and it was I was the only kid on the block to have it, and it was great. I used to use it on airplanes and stuff, and amaze the flight attendants. And they'd think, "Wow, I can really call my mom." Yeah, okay. And I was in L.A., and everybody in L.A. was talking on car phones on the freeway and driving around, switching lanes and being dangerous about it. And I just wrote the song based on what they might be saying to each other, and sort of as a warning to, look out for them.
Car phones, spacemen, and Elvis, all coming up next on Roger McGuinn, Off the Record. I'm Mary Turner.
Most men lead lives of quiet desperation, boring and dull. But not you. You're about to enter Chic Slim Twins Close to the Edge sweepstakes with the chance to win the action-adventure vacation of your choice plus $10,000. Choose sports car racing, scuba diving, even glacier skiing. Look for entry forms where Slim Twin razors are sold because you know how to live close to the edge.
Participating stores only. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstakes ends September 30th. See official rules.
She was a living goddess in the next office, and I, a mere mortal. I bring her coffee. She drinks herbal tea. I ask her to lunch for chili dogs. She's a vegetarian. I mention I have Night of the Killer Artichokes on video. She's into foreign films. Then I take out my dentine, for fresh breath. Her eyes light up. I offer her a piece. Finally, the goddess and I have something in common. Things are definitely looking up.
Dentine and sugar-free Dentine. We'll take care of your breath. The rest is up to you.
Few in the world could twist a phrase like Casey Stengel or make us feel so good about hearing something we didn't understand.
I would say I wouldn't know, but I would say the reason why they'd want it passed is to keep baseball going as the highest baseball sport that has gone into baseball, and from the baseball angle. I'm not going to speak of any other sport. I'm not in here to argue about other sports. I'm in the baseball business.
Some topics of conversation, of course, are essential for us to understand. Insurance coverage, for example. However, insurance terminology can sometimes be confusing, which is why a Prudential agent will answer as many questions as you have, as many times as you want, in everyday words you can understand, to help you get your piece of the rock.
At the Prudential, we won't let you get it until you've got it.
It's been run cleaner than any baseball business that was ever put out in the 100 years at the present time.
I'm Mary Turner, back with Roger McGuinn, Off the Record.
Talking on the car phone. Hear him talking on the car phone.
Hi, Stephanie, this is Mark.
Hi, Mark, how are you?
I'm fine. I was wondering if you wanted to come over to my house for dinner tonight.
Oh, I can't. I'm on my way to the airport right now.
What? Are you in your car?
I put my home phone on hold forwarding so it rings in the car. I'm just gonna pick up an old friend who's flying in from Rio.
Who do you know from Rio?
He's a guitar player. His name is Jim McGuinn, and he's back from Rio.
You wrote with a lot of different people on this record. Petty, Dave Stewart, Mike Campbell, Jeff Lynne, your wife, Camilla.
I like to collaborate because when you do that, you have an opportunity to bounce ideas back and forth. When you're just writing by yourself, it can be good. I wrote Mr. Spaceman by myself, although that's a silly song, but he was a friend of mine by myself. And you can get a good song out of it, but I find it really helpful to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the intellectual process of talking about the idea before we start writing and then coming up with the lyrics based on that structure.
She got rubies on her pillow. She got sapphires on the head of her bed. She got emeralds on her fingertips. She got diamonds in her hair. She got jasper on her curtains. She got crystalline on her ceiling. She got topaz on the soles of her shoes, and it sparkles as she's leaving. I see you standing in the candlelight. Come to me tonight. Your love is the sweetest thing. Your love makes me feel so fine. Your love is a shimmering light. Your love is a gold mine. She got amethyst in her earrings. She got platinum on the tips of her toes. She got sterling in her dresser drawers. She got yellow gold on the hems of her clothes. I see you standing in the candlelight. Come to me tonight. Your love is the sweetest thing. Your love makes me feel so fine. Your love is a shimmering light. Your love is a gold mine. So many facets of your love. It's so refined. Take me forever to mine it out, but I don't mind.
Your Love is a Gold Mine by Dave Stewart and Roger McGuinn.
It's kind of a dark song. Well, Dave is into this whole dark, mysterious thing, so I took his lead. He actually had started the song, and he was playing it for Jeff Lynne over at his house. And Jeff said, well, that would be a good song for Roger to write with you. So he said, okay, and I got a tape of it, and I finished it up. And I brought it back to Dave, and then we made some final adjustments on it. Sort of an Arabian kind of feel, yeah. I'm not really attracted to that kind of music that much. I think the closest I got to it was in the 8 Miles High period, where I was listening to a lot of John Coltrane, and he was influenced by Indian music at that point.
Paul McCartney and Roger McGuinn have a lot in common. Huge stars in the 60s that are more popular than ever in the 90s. And there's that Elvis connection.
I met Elvis at a club in New Orleans called Storyville, which is a famous jazz club. And he came back after the show and wanted to see my Rickenbacker 12-string. He was fascinated by that and the sound of it. And I let him play it for a little bit, and he said, "Ooh, this is hard to play." You know. And a couple of weeks later, I got a call from T-Bone Burnett, who was producing Elvis's record, Spike, and he wanted me to play on it with a 12-string. So I flew out to LA and did that. And then I bumped into Elvis again in Boston. I was playing a club there, and he came up and jammed with me on stage for about half an hour. And after the show, we sat around and extended the jam after the audience left for about 5 hours, just passing the guitar around and playing Beatles songs and stuff, and that was great. At that point, I asked him if he had any songs for my album because I knew I was going to be recording soon. And he said no, he didn't have any songs that he'd already written, but he would write one for me. He'd go home and write one. So I said, great, and I was really looking forward to it. And I bumped into him again in Atlanta. I was changing planes. I was getting off the plane, and he was getting on the plane I was getting off of. And I said, have you written my song yet? And he said, oh, no, I forgot. So he went back to Ireland, and he wrote the song, and he was all excited. He sent it over at Federal Express, and a little cassette of it, and a 3-page letter saying it was about these two mates, you know, who grew up together, and they swore they were never going to sell out. And one of them did, and the other guy's just kind of reminding him of the relationship and the agreement that they'd made. And he wanted it to sound like a cross between Positively 4th Street and My Back Pages. You know, sort of not really accusing, but with an edge on it, and kind of just reminding the guy that all I want you to do is just admit it, you bowed down. And I really loved his writing. He's an excellent singer and a writer. I really look up to him.
I suppose you're entitled to know why I'm making contact with acquaintances scattered all over the land. I promise you now and again that I honor the contract if it hadn't crumbled away in my hand. Well, we broke that vow independently now, but I don't know why you absolutely deny. You bow down, bow down, you bow down, you bow down, bow down, you bow down. When you first looked away, I might say it was really a kindness. It must have hurt to see our dreams sour. Now they say that justice and love are the next things to blindness, but you're getting plenty of both of them now. And so you parade where appointments are made and never meant to be kept unless you accept. You bow down, bow down, you bow down, you bow down, bow down, you bow down. You value the burnt amber of falling leaves and you long to delay. You feel their breath as they whisper, it won't hurt you not to betray. If you just bow down. And now every time that we meet on the edge of hysteria, you're helping them sell off some new party line. I remember a time when you would have seemed so superior, and now you say, will you please meet this good friend of mine? So you're in demand as long as you kiss their hand, but all the applause is for their name, not yours. You bow down, bow down.
Roger McGuinn and Tom Petty, twin sons of different mothers? We'll find out right after this. Off the Record. I'm Mary Turner.
How do we get you up to speed on the Army? Here comes your ride now.
Get in! We're cavalry scouts. This is a training exercise where it's up to us to track and locate the opposing team. See these tracks? We can identify each vehicle and its travel direction. These tracks are very fresh. Well, they forded this river. On the map, it's here at grid 7974. The rotor pitch tells you he's one of ours. Make a coded radio report. Shh. Listen. You get down. We've got 5 of their scout vehicles westbound. See them? That's our call. We could divert them while we... Hold on. That's their armored force right behind them. Mount up, Scout. We'll call in some firepower.
Ready for more? There's a lot more ground to cover.
Be all that you can be.
Paid for by the U.S. Army.
Watching baseball is like watching grass grow. So what am I doing at every home game? Checking out the cutest catcher I ever laid eyes on. Trouble is, how to get his eyes on me. I finagle a seat right behind home plate. The moment comes with a pop fly into the stands. He's coming right at me. I pop a piece of dentine so my breath is killer fresh. He makes the catch and lands right in the lap of yours truly.
Hi there.
I'm really starting to like this game.
Dentine and sugar-free Dentine will take care of your breath. The rest is up to you.
I must tell you of some rare tropical birds that are roosting at TGI Fridays during our Caribbean Day celebration. These are among the strangest birds you'd ever come across. They know only one thing: how to keep a cool drink cool. They're our exotic tropical drink holders. $1.49 with a special purchase at participating Fridays. You, my friend, would look marvelous with all 4. TGI Fridays Caribbean Day celebration.
Hi, I'm Tom Petty on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Do you still practice jazz guitar?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I kind of gave up on that. It's so, you have to practice scales for hours every day, and it's just too hard, I mean, it's something like, it requires so much more discipline than rock and roll. I don't know how they do it.
I'm Mary Turner, back with Roger McGuinn, Off the Record.
Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking there was a little more to life somewhere else. After all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. And if she had to die trying, she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Oh yeah, oh yeah, alright, take it easy, baby, think it lasts all night. She was an American girl.
American Girl by Tom Petty, performed by Roger McGuinn.
They came out about the same time. His was already done, and I heard a copy of his, and I was amazed at it. I loved the song, and I wanted to meet him, and we did meet, and I recorded it on the Thunderbird album. And we both went on the road. We played it together at the Bottom Line and a lot of places around the country. And it was just a fun time. I've known Tom ever since, and we've been real close friends.
Some time and learn how to play. And when your hair's
think that people don't realize that, a lot of people have been influenced by the Byrds over the years, but they don't all sound like Tom Petty. He just happens to have a voice that has similar characteristics to mine, and that's just a God-given thing. And when I sing with him, it's like brothers, it gets that brother blend, like the Everly Brothers or something. It's really neat. I was down in St. Petersburg on the beach at the Don Cesar Hotel, which is this beautiful, big pink hotel, and Tom was staying there, and we were flying a kite out there. And Tom mentioned to me, he said, I got to go on the road with Dylan next week. We're going to go over to Europe and do a tour. And I said, whoa, that sounds great. I'd love to go on that. He said, well, I'll ask him. So he did. He went back to L.A. and he asked Bob about it. And Bob said, yeah, bring him along. I went over there and we started in Israel and we went up to Switzerland and we went all through Europe. And we had a day off in Sweden. And I had this tune that I'd been working on. It was like... sort of dee-da-da-dee-da-da-dee. I showed it to Tom, and he liked it a lot. And he said, well, let's just work on the chorus a little bit. And we came in, da-da-dee-da, we've both been reading this rock biography. I don't want to tell you who it was about, but it inspired us to write the song. It was about one of these guys in rock and roll who sort of had a decadent life, and we just thought we'd nail him in it.
Ellie's asleep. You roll up your window. The night air is cold. The freeway is clear. In a green Gucci bag are your prized possessions, the jewels of your mind. To hold back the fear. And when Monday comes round, there's a high lonesome sound, and she follows you down for the kill. And a white blinding light makes it all seem so right, and you feel like the king of the hill. The driveway is long, your princess is lovely, your servants all wait for your knock on the door. How many years will you crawl through this castle, so satisfied and still wanting more? And when Monday comes round, there's a high lonesome sound, and she follows you down for the kill. And a white blinding light makes it all seem so right, and you feel like the king of the hill. The guests have arrived with all the right faces, but you missed the ball in that room down the hall. It's sunrise again, the driveway is empty, the crystal is cracked, and there's blood on the wall. And when Monday comes round, there's a high lonesome sound, and she follows you down for the kill. And a white blinding light makes it all seem so right,
there's some things that aren't perfect, but I don't get the willies from them. I don't have any regrets because I figure the whole idea of a box set is for archivists, it's for collectors. Anybody who wants a slick package can go out and buy the greatest hits CD and have all that stuff. And so you want to find little nooks and crannies and behind the scenes things and even bloopers that will make it interesting when you have a box set like that.
We'll hear what he's talking about right after this on Roger McGuinn, Off the Record. I'm Mary Turner.
Most men lead lives of quiet desperation, boring and dull. But not you. You're about to enter Chic Slim Twins Close to the Edge sweepstakes with the chance to win the action-adventure vacation of your choice plus $10,000. Choose sports car racing, scuba diving, even glacier skiing. Look for entry forms where Slim Twin razors are sold because you know how to live close to the edge.
Participating stores only. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstakes ends September 30th. See official rules.
Latex says, know the facts, girl. Latex tampons. When you got it right, you can just relax, girl. Latex tampons.
It's a fact. Playtex tampons are more comfortable because Playtex has a smooth plastic applicator with a round tip. Sure feels better than flat tip cardboard.
Latex says, check it out, girl. Know what Playtex is all about, girl.
Playtex tampons, the protection to choose when you know the facts.
Presenting two comedians who've turned the confusing conversation into a work of art. Abbott and Costello.
Look, Abbott, if you're the coach, you must know all the players. I certainly do. Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third. That's what I want to find out. I say, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third. Are you the manager? Yes. You're going to be the coach, too? Yes. And you know the fellow's name? Well, I should. Well, then who's on first? Yes. I mean the fellow's name. Who? The guy on first. Who? The first baseman. Who? The guy playing first. Who is on first? I'm asking you who's on first. That's the man's name. That's whose name? Yes. Well, go ahead and tell me. That's it. That's who? Yes.
Some conversations, of course, are essential for us to understand. Insurance, for example. But insurance terminology can sometimes be confusing, which is why a Prudential agent will answer as many questions as you have, as many times as you want, in everyday words you can understand, to help you get your piece of the rock.
At the Prudential, we won't let you get it until you've got it.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base? No, what is on second base? I'm not asking you who's on second. Who's on first?
Off the Record. I'm Mary Turner talking with Roger McGuinn.
Woke up this morning with light in my eyes and then realized it was still dark outside. It was a light coming down from the sky. I don't know who or why. Must be those strangers that come every night. Those saucer-shaped lights put people uptight. Leave blue-green footprints that glow in the dark. I hope they get home alright. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Woke up this morning, I was feeling quite weird. Had flies in my beard, my toothpaste was smeared. Over my window, they'd written my name. Said, so long, we'll see you again. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride?
There's a lot to thank the birds for. Let's start with sounds. Folk rock, country rock, outer space rock?
I'll address the country rock thing first. I think Graham Parsons was responsible for the innovation, and he did that with his International Submarine Band, which was before the Byrds did the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album. But then he led us into the Nashville studio to do Sweetheart of the Rodeo, and I think that was more popular than the International Submarine Band. I don't think you can get that record anymore. I don't know if you can or not. But as far as inventing folk rock, well, that was kind of something we did. We were one of the first people to really cross over rock and folk. Peter, Paul, and Mary had done Dylan songs before, but they maintained the sort of Weavers-like approach to it, folk group. And we took Dylan and changed the beat from 2/4 to 4/4 and changed the harmony structure and put a little bit of contemporary, like put that little Bach riff in the front of it and kind of changed it. So I guess inadvertently we did invent folk rock. The chord changes are all rooted in folk music. They're like a lot of major keys with relative minor chords and descending, minor chords and so on. It's the same, like the stuff like that. I do a lot of things that are in that area. I got a lot of my musical ideas from a guy named Bob Gibson, who was kind of a disciple of Pete Seeger's, but he was a little more contemporary at the time. He took some of Pete Seeger's ideas and added some passing chords to them and made them a little more, I don't know, put a little more zing in them.
The reason why, oh, I can't say. I have to let you go, baby, and right away. After what you did, I can't stay on, and I probably feel a whole lot better
In January, Roger McGuinn, David Crosby, Chris Hillman, Gene Clark, and Michael Clark were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the original Byrds. They had on their best suits and their best smiles.
This is the first time that all five have appeared on stage since, I guess, on stage probably since 73. Yeah, we did a thing at the Troubadour, I think. Well, it was a wonderful, warm, emotional experience to see Chris Hillman and David Crosby and Michael Clark and Gene Clark all in the same room, and to be singing with them. It was great.
Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing.
Did you have much say in the Byrds collection, picking songs, pictures?
I had something to do with the box set. I was the musical director or the consultant on it, and what that entailed was listening to a lot of tapes and going through them and saying, no, I don't think we want to use this one, let's use this one, or that take is better, or I think we need to remix this, or when it came to the Graham Parsons vocals, it was a tremendous find, and I said, we have to use this, we have to bring the Graham Parsons vocal leads out. And it wasn't something that was, there was nothing negative about the whole experience. In fact, it was sort of a kind of a healing thing where you get your whole life in perspective. You can see what you've done in like a 4-hour period. You can listen to the whole thing, beginning to end, of what you've done. And it's a nice feeling. It helps you to know who you are a little bit better.
Roger McGuinn, off the record with Mary Turner, has been brought to you by Schick Razors and Blades. Schick, close to the edge. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be. This program was written and produced by Marsha Richardson, production and engineering by Michael Cooper. Off the Record with Mary Turner is a presentation of the Westwood One Radio Network. Executive producer Norm Pattis.